So what we're doing today is we are connecting this ultrasonic pest rat device, and it's going to be wired into the vehicle battery for the engine compartment. And yeah, so I had to go through this thing here to get into the console, and protected it with a little bit of shield just like the rest of this. And I'm going to mount it right here and connect to that ground point there, and just zip tie it to this harness bundle of cables here. Should be fine. I'll pull in all the slack before I'm done. So let's go over here inside the cab to take a look at how this is set up. And so you can see, I think it comes through that little spot there, and we're going to run it up and across and over to here, and then tie in to one of these light control wires, which is connected to this guy here, which currently controls the lights on the bumper. So there's extra circuits on there, so I'm just going to connect the ultrasonic to that so I can toggle it easily without having to get into the engine compartment, and it's just a convenient source of power. So kind of wish I would have started this video a little sooner, but it's not too late. I think you know, the main information here is that if you want to route from the engine compartment to the console area, you kind of need to go through that spot there with the rubberized harness protector. So here we go. I'm going to do a few more things, and hopefully it'll just work. Great. All right, before I get to testing the voltage on this thing, I'm going to check to make sure that I have an actual ground to the chassis. So what I've done is I've connected an alligator clip to a bolt under the console, and I'm just doing a continuity check between two different bolts to make sure I actually have a ground connection. So you can see perhaps the clip up there, and then when I go down here and touch the wire there, that makes it work. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this over to voltage DC, and it is the orange wire that needs to be tested. So I'm going to set this up here. Can you see the orange? Yeah, maybe. All right, so here is the orange wire, and that's in there now. I don't know if you can see that. Yep, just barely. So that should be switch 3. All right, so what I have just found is that switch 3 is currently configured to not turn on unless the car is running. So I'm going to reprogram the thing with the Bluetooth connector. It's the Switch Pro, I think it's the 9100, so I have to go look in the manual and run the little Bluetooth app and figure that out. Back in a minute. I think I understand what's happening. You might be able to see on here that it says switch 3 on ignition, and the other two are set to battery, which is why I can just toggle these while the battery is... Weird. Lots to learn. I think I might not have just been pushing the button hard enough. It's simple as that. Anyway, so the, the meter's on DC voltage. I've got my thing in the orange connector, which is supposedly number 3, switch number 3. Sorry about all the movement. And Let's see what we get here when I hit that button. 13.35. Toggle off. Alright. So we got juice. Perfect. Now I just need to connect the wires. I think we're good. And then zip tie it up. Alright, give myself a little extra. Not too much though. Orange one. Strip this little guy down. I think I'm gonna zip tie them all in place before I actually get the final length. This is really, really tight. You gotta be a contortionist to get in there. I think I'm gonna have to move the camera way around that way. Got the right sides here. Now I have to fumble a little bit less. Alright, so I want to make sure that I get the right kind of connector on the bottom here, because I don't want this thing, well, I don't want this ground to just slide out somehow. So I'm gonna snip this off and put on this other guy. Apparently this gauge of fitting is too small. I'll find a different one. Alright, so this is an insulated thing, and it wasn't crimping down unless I basically broke the insulation, so I put another little heat shrink on here just to protect it. Doesn't really need it. It is just a ground after all, but better safe than sorry. Alright, so with that in place, I can now put this onto the ground along with the others. A little magnet just in case something drops. Should do the trick. And now I can pull the wire in from the inside to get rid of the slack. So it looks like I need to pull about a couple feet. So I think that's what we're going to go for here. Yeah, so basically I go for this. And I think I'll trim just a little bit off of this loom. Don't need quite so much. And that'll let me pull in a little bit more from the inside. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's about how I want it. The switch is accessible. The wires will be zip tied. And yeah, that should be pretty good, just like that. So, all right. Before I do that though, I'm gonna actually test and make sure this thing works. Now for the moment of truth, I have finished the wiring. I got the zip ties all in place to make it tidy. And so now, this is all wired, this is here, this is plugged in. It's currently off, so I'm going to go hit the switch. See what happens. Alright, the switch is toggling with the car off now. I think that's because I changed the light controller to work without the ignition signal. I didn't install that. So here we go. There we go. Success. All right. So now all that's left is to tidy things up. I want the switch to be accessible here. I think I'll put a label on here just to make it a little more clear for the future. Right, I think we're done. And got a little app here that when I hit the button, it turns on. The same button on the console does the same thing. Yay.